Space Dandy Episode 2, The Search for the Phantom Space Ramen Baby. This episode I really enjoyed. I thought it was really good, continuation of last week's episode, even though it doesn't actually, continue right from there because obviously it just, the planet exploded and they don't even mention that in this episode, which I think is so funny. But it just fits, just the atmosphere of this show because it's an insane, over the top, funny, silly show. And one of the greatest things about it is that the animation perfectly matches how insane the show is. Like when they go through the wormhole in this episode, it's just like they're basically just like little spinning coils going through this wormhole until they get spit out in the other dimension. And this whole episode is them searching for initially it's like, oh, we have to find a new species because that's what Dandy and QT do. And then Meow says, well, there's supposed to be this alien species that no one really knows about that makes this unbelievable ramen. And then it just becomes, let's try all these different types of ramen. And of course, the Gogol Empire is still going after Space Dandy for whatever reason they are. And I love the sort of social media thing with Meow, where it's like Twitter or Facebook, and he's just like taking pictures every time they go to a new restaurant. It's like this is where we are, this is where we are. So the Gogol Empire is just on their butt every time, and because of that, the first time they attack, we get to meet Scarlet, or we really get her introduction because she's in the beginning of the episode. It's basically like the person who says this alien species is new or not new. So she was in the beginning of the episode, but that was really it. And then she comes in and they like mess her food up and stuff, and then the music kicks in, and I love that because it was kind of like old, like it's 70s action flick type of movies where it's sort of cheesy but not really, and that was the kind of music they play, and she's of course doing like martial arts and like beating up all these aliens and stuff. And it was really cool that they got we got her introduction. Of course they go back to boobies, which I'm sure will be in literally every episode, but like I love what they did where they kind of mentioned the first episode where Dandy's talking about the girl's chest, and then QT's like, don't you, like, I thought you like rear ends more or something like that. And he's like, I don't remember saying that at all. And I thought that was just really funny. But this episode was really, really good. I actually like this one more than the last one, and I don't know, maybe it's because it was just so silly, and it's all three of the characters together the entire time. Although it felt a lot more like it was, the first episode was really Dandy and QT, and this one I felt was really Dandy and Meow. So maybe next week it'll be everyone gets equal screen time, or at least Meow and QT kind of split up the time equally because obviously Dandy's the main character. But this one I feel like QT was hardly in it really. I mean, he was there of course in each scene, but I feel like he hardly said anything compared to Meow and Dandy, because they were the ones really, because they were the ones eating the ramen. Really, I think that was the main reason, because obviously QT's a robot, so he's not really doing much. But love the episode, and I love when they get to the ending and they actually find out where the ramen comes from, and it is from an alternate dimension. And then they have like this, it gets like super serious when the guy's like telling his life story. It's like, I had to run away from home, and I've been here for like 10,000 years and stuff like that. And he's like, I used to be like a bad guy, like he was in a gang and stuff. At least that's what it looked like from the two pictures we really got to see. And so when he mentions like, I got in like a bad accident, and it could have been different because I actually had to watch the sub version because I have like the worst internet or worst like cable ever, so it didn't record. So I saw like the dubbed version or the sub version instead of the dubbed. So the dialogue may have been different, but he talks about how he got into an accident. I figured, oh, he was doing some gang related thing on his motorcycle, and his girlfriend died or something. And it's like she wanted him to light a cigarette, and he just like torched her, and she like burst into flames and died. And I thought that was hilarious. I was like, that was like the last thing I was even thinking, because they showed him basically spit the fire to heat up the broth for the ramen, and I didn't even think she had the cigarette and stuff, and then he just tortures her and kills her by accident, and that was his huge mistake. And so he's fleeing from different planets and stuff, and it was really funny. And it was like it got real serious, and then he just like spits fire on her and kills her by accident, and then they just picked right up to the comedy again. But it was a really good episode, and they go through, they find out exactly what they're looking for, except Meow, because he like has the ramen and then he spills it through the dimension. or through the wormhole, and I thought maybe it would like shoot out and somehow he'd magically get like a perfect bowl, even though it wouldn't make sense. But he just ends up not getting anything, which I thought was even funnier actually. But love this episode. Excited to see who they might introduce, in the third episode, because we know some of the main characters, obviously Dandy, QT, Meow. We got Scarlet in this one, and I can't remember like the blonde girl's name from Boobies, but obviously she's kind of a main character. I feel like she'll really come into later episodes, but for now she's just a waitress there. But I'm excited to see what new characters they add in and stuff like that for future episodes, because I'm excited to see where they go with some of the new characters they add in. Like with Scarlet, they did add in the action, which I figured they would, and it fit perfectly into the show because it was silly and over the top, and she just like beating up all these aliens, and she just leaves out really cool, and then Dandy's just like destroyed and stuff, and I thought it was really cool. So I'm excited to see next week's episode, which is going to be really silly and just fan servicey, which is funny considering what the show is. They go to a place called Boobies, but excited to see how silly that one gets for sure. But comment below, let me know what you guys thought of this episode. Favorite parts, least favorite parts, and did anybody else get hungry? Because just watching the whole thing, all I was thinking was, I just really want some good ramen. So it just drove me nuts a little. But comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.